Others. Here is an extraordinarily talented actress, Ruby Dee.
No matter what people want you to believe, don't ever turn back on your dreams.
How did you get in show business?
Show business, I think about that. I'm really not in it. I'm around it. I'm on the periphery. I'm doing all right for a colored girl.
All right.
That's right. Our featured colored girl today is Ruby Ann Wallace, also known as Ruby Dee. I've been bubbling with excitement over doing this episode on Ruby Dee because, well, just look at her.
If you would get down on your knees, Your Honor, and crawl toward me and lick the point of my shoe, I'd do anything in the world you ask if you just lick the point of my shoe.
Her voice, her essence, she is a person that absolutely captivates the screen whenever you're watching her, and I adore her immensely. I grew up watching Ruby Dee in all of my favorite Spike Lee joints.
Hey, you old drunk. What did I tell you about drinking in front of my stoop?
She played alongside Nat King Cole in St. Louis Blues, Sidney Poitier in A Raisin in the Sun, and she played along Denzel Washington in American Gangster. Ruby Dee's performance in American Gangster led her to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She was the second oldest actress to be nominated in this category.
I promise you, I ain't gonna shoot you.
I never asked you where all this came from because I didn't want to hear you lie.
I don't want you to worry about it. Now, come on, I got to go.
Don't lie to me. Don't do that.
One of my favorite performances of Ruby Dee is when she played Zora Neale Hurston in Zora Is My Name, a stage adaptation of Zora's entire life. One of the reasons why this performance is so special to me is because my first stage performance ever, I was in elementary school and I too played Zora Neale Hurston. So that's something that I have in common with the legendary Ruby Dee. I left Louisiana, and after visiting Florida, I came up to New York City and fell in love. And when I fall in love, I can feel the bump. He was tall, dark brown, and magnificently built, with this beautifully black modeled head. And, I mean, I didn't fall in love with him because of that. He had a fine mind, and that intrigued me. And when a man keeps beating me to the draw mentally, it gets real glamorous. And then, in real life, Ruby Dee did fall in love with Ossie Davis.
Whatever you do, don't panic.
Whatever you do, don't panic.
Just walk like I taught you to walk, and talk like I taught you to talk.
Talk like I walked you to.
Do the bell.
Yes, I'm paying.
But I have to tell you this because, well, at one point during the rehearsal, I was, Ossie was standing on stage, tying his tie. And he was dressed in his soldier's uniform costume. I felt something like a bolt of lightning, an electrical charge.
Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis were married for 56 years and had 3 children together. They compiled and produced their entire life in audiobook form entitled In This Life Together with Ossie and Ruby, a audiobook that went on to win a Grammy. Yes, a Grammy. So let's give it up for our colored girl of the week, Miss Ruby Dee. We love you, Ruby. Thank you, and I stand on your shoulders.